So if you didn't know, there is a $1.8 billion lawsuit against the National Association of Realtors that will change the way we do business in the real estate market. So in today's video, I want to tell you all about it, and we're going to get started. What's up and welcome back to All Things Tennessee with me, Ben Barredo, your local real estate pro and relocation expert for East Tennessee. Today, we're going to discuss the $1.8 billion lawsuit that is impacting the real estate industry and will ultimately impact you when you're ready to buy or sell. Depending on how you look at it, it could be for the better, it could be for the worse. You tell me at the end of this video. The class action lawsuit, Sitzer vs. the National Association of Realtors, alleged that the National Association of Realtors, Keller Williams Realty, Anywhere Real Estate, formerly known as Realogy, RE/MAX, Home Services of America, all major real estate brokerages colluded to artificially inflate agent commissions. RE/MAX and Anywhere Real Estate, again formerly Realogy, earlier this year settled out of court for a combined $140 million. A jury ultimately sided against the remaining defendants on October 31st of last year, awarding a judgment of $1.8 million that could, depending on the judge's decision, surge to over $5 billion in total damages. A quote from Omar Ochoa, a class action attorney and founder of Omar Ochoa Law Firms in Texas, said they ultimately agreed that there was a conspiracy among realtors to keep their fees artificially high. So what's this conspiracy that they're talking about? Basically, the sellers in this lawsuit claim that they were forced to pay for the commission of both agents, and they didn't think it was fair. According to the jurors, they agreed. You see, buying a home is obviously expensive, but selling a home can be expensive too. The biggest expense for selling a home is when it comes to the agent commission. And generally, when selling a home, you're going to pay somewhere from 5 to 6% of the sales price to the realtor. So for example, if a house sells for $300,000 at a 6% commission to the agents, that seller's paying $18,000 in commission. And another couple grand for closing costs and maybe miscellaneous fees, and we're around $20,000. And depending on the mortgage payoff, that seller might walk away with very little to nothing at all. Now, that commission, let's stick with the 6% example, is split 4 ways. The selling agent, the listing agent split it, and then they split it with their broker. So, on average, each party in there is getting about $5,000, $6,000 of the $20,000. Now, the history behind this commission structure goes back, which by the way we call cooperation commission, goes back to the 1800s. Some real estate agents back in the 1800s decided that it would be easier for them to pool their resources and work together to ensure their clients' homes get sold more quickly and with more ease. And this became the birth of the MLS. And in order to get access to this information, they decided the listing agent would offer a cooperation commission to the agent that brought them a buyer. The other part of this reason for this was that buyers are putting all of their money towards the financing and the purchasing of the home. Between loan fees, the down payment, and closing costs, buyers were paying, in a lot of times, way more than a seller would pay when it comes to the commission. So to help alleviate those expenses and give the buyer the ability to have more purchasing power, they worked it out so that the sellers paid the commission and the buyers could focus on the financing. So is that enough to call it a conspiracy? I personally don't think so. The commission structure is usually in the listing agreement and explained to the seller, or should be explained to the seller during the listing consultation before their house even goes on the market. Now, I don't know if that was skipped in this case for these lawsuits. I don't know if it was never shared and the sellers were blindsided by it. I really don't know, but I know our practice at Wallace Real Estate is to discuss all of that up front. So how is this going to impact the real estate market? Now, honestly, we don't know exactly how this is going to be handled. And it's going to be handled differently by every real estate company around the country. But here at Wallace, we're already getting ahead of this and the potential outcome that we're going to face. So basically, it's no longer going to be expected that sellers pay both sides of the commission. And it's no longer going to be required by the state or the county real estate association that a listing agent must offer a cooperation commission. You see, prior to, and still today until these rules go into effect, in order to put a house as a listing on the MLS, now there are some companies out there that have already been practicing something or a strategy that is more than likely going to become more common as we move forward, and that is they offer a cooperation commission, but they may offer just $1 or 0.5%, something like that. And then when a buyer agent calls and asks about the reason behind that, then that selling agent or listing agent basically just tells the buyer that if they want to get paid, they're going to have to talk to their clients and get the buyers to pay the commission. Now, what we're going to do at Wallace is we're going to go to a seller and we're going to discuss them selling their house. And we will give them the option to offer the traditional cooperation commission and pay the average 5 or 6%. And if they do not want to do that at that point, then at that, basically the listing agent will have to offer whatever commission they agreed to, whether it's 3% or 2%, with a buyer's agent, or they're just going to have a conversation with the buyer's agent and let them know that their clients are going to have to compensate them for their time. Now, something that I already do with my buyers is, and this is going to be another normal practice for buyers, this is how it's going to impact buyers, obviously, if you don't know, and that is buyers are going to have a conversation with their agents about the potential of running into a listing. Their dream home could be on the market, and if that dream home owner isn't offering a commission to that agent, then the buyers are going to need to know up front that it's a possibility that the dream home they find out there, they may have to pay the commission on that. Now, how this is going to impact the buyer is how, it's going to be an out-of-pocket expense at closing, which is going to take money away from either their down payment or some other cost in the loan process, which could impact their financing. So this is something that I encourage anyone out there that's a buyer to go ahead and talk to your lender about this possibility and how it's going to be handled. Are you going to pay that out of your pocket as a buyer? Are you going to be able to roll it into the loan and pay it at closing? I mean, that's all going to be dependent on your lender, their practices, and I think a lot of different industries are going to have to change practices because of this ruling. Now, again, I was saying I already talk to my buyers when I have a buyer consultation, because there is a source out there for potential homes to purchase that already have the potential of this happening in it, and that's for sale by owners. So I tell my buyers all the time that if you see a for sale by owner, it's definitely an option if you like the house, but let me give them a call, because there's a good chance they're not paying my commission. And in the event they're not paying my commission and you still want to move forward with the purchase, then at that point we need to sit down and talk about compensation. And when you sign a buyer's brokers or buyer representation agreement up front, you're agreeing that you're not going to go around that buyer's agent and go to the for sale by owner or the listing agent and try to swindle them out of getting paid. So that's going to be another practice that's going to be more normalized. Now, when you list a home, you sign a listing agreement, right? Everything's signed up front in order to get that house on the MLS. A lot of buyer agents don't get buyer representation agreements signed, and they just go show houses and they cross their fingers and hope that that buyer is going to be honest and that they're going to work with them in the purchase of their dream home. I always get a buyer's representation agreement signed up front, because as much as I love people and I want to trust everyone, there's always going to be that one person that tries to get around it. And if I'm going to spend my gas, my time, my resources, and days away from my family to help you find a home, and you try to get around me to purchase a house and leave me out in the cold, then through that buyer's agent representation agreement, I'm going to be able to get compensated, whether, keeping you locked into working with me, or if I have to take you to court. Now, has that ever happened? No. And again, the important part is all of these things need to be discussed up front before anything happens. Before jumping to the end of this video, I'd love for you to check out other videos on this channel. I've got all kind of great information, tips about buying, selling, ways to make a stress-free home. You can check all those videos out by clicking the link below. Also, if you're thinking of moving to East Tennessee and you need a real estate agent, or if you're thinking of selling a home and you need a real estate agent, you need to get a valuation on that property, give me a call. I would love to help you out. You can reach me at the contact information right here, or you can look down in the description and there's going to be some more contact information there. And while you're here, make sure to like and subscribe. As you can see, we have changes on the horizon in the real estate industry. And again, I don't know exactly how these are going to impact you or impact the industry as a whole, how big it's going to be, or if it's going to be very minute changes. It's all speculative at this point. I can imagine though that when more and more buyers become unable to purchase homes because everything's over their budget, when they have to start paying commission, things may go back to normal. Who knows? Only time will tell, right? Well, that's it for today's video. I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope you found that information enlightening. And as always, if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. All right. Thanks again for coming by, and I'll see you next time. Bye.